Emoji? Come here, buddy, I missed you too.
This explains the destructive panic of separation anxiety. The man is René Descartes. You know him for saying, "I think, therefore I am." He concluded that non-human animals were simply biological robots. He argued that when a dog yelps because you stepped on its paw, it is not feeling pain. He said it was no different than the screech of a metal spring when a machine is overwound. No soul. It allowed early scientists to perform vivisection surgery on live, unanesthetized animals while ignoring their screams. This is why the soulless argument is not just wrong, it is practically criminal. Fast forward to July 7th, 2012. This is a date that should be etched in history books, but you probably missed it. A group of the world's most prominent neuroscientists gathered at the University of Cambridge to sign a document called the Cambridge Declaration on Consciousness. They stated that non-human animals, including all mammals and birds, and many other creatures, including octopuses, possess the neurological substrates that generate consciousness.
Oh my God! Holy, you guys, you saved me!
The debate is over. Scientifically, they are conscious. The hardware is there. We thought the neocortex, the wrinkled outer layer of the brain responsible for logic, was the generator of the soul. We were wrong. The seat of consciousness is much older and much deeper. And every single mammal you have ever met has it. They lose the ability to speak and do math, but they do not lose the ability to feel pain or emotion. In fact, without the logic filter of the cortex, the emotions become stronger. This suggests something terrifying. Animals, lacking our massive neocortex to rationalize and suppress their feelings, might actually feel more intensely than we do. The doctors might look at you and think you are in a coma, a vegetable, but inside, you are screaming. This is the closest approximation we have to the animal experience. They are not vegetables. They are locked in. We demand they write us an essay to prove they exist. But existence doesn't require an essay. It requires a nervous system. And their nervous system is firing on all cylinders. We often say, "Oh, it's just an animal. They don't understand what's happening." We say that to comfort ourselves. But the reality is, because they don't understand, the horror is likely magnified. We clung to this lie for 400 years because we had to. Think about the implications if we didn't. If that cow, that pig, or that octopus has an internal world as vivid, as terrified, and as hopeful as yours, then we are not the stewards of this planet. We are its monsters. When you come home, your dog greets you with a level of ecstasy that is socially unacceptable for a human. They vibrate. They scream. They lose control of their bodies. Why? Because in the eternal now, your return is the single greatest event in the history of the universe. There is no, "Oh, it's just my owner. I saw him this morning." There is only the explosion of the immediate. This suggests that animals are not less than human. They are hyper-souled. They do not know you will be back in 5 hours. They only know that you are gone, and the goneness is the only reality that exists. This explains the destructive panic of separation anxiety. When an octopus explores a reef, the central brain doesn't micromanage every movement. It sends a general command, like "search that hole," and the arm itself decides how to do it. The arm thinks, it tastes, it touches, and it makes decisions without consulting the headquarters. This creates a terrifying question for the concept of the soul. Is the octopus one being, or is it a federation of 9 beings working in concert? If you cut off an arm, the arm continues to react to pain and stimulus for an hour. It is still aware in a rudimentary sense. This suggests that consciousness is not a monolith. It is a fluid. We look at them and ask, is there a ghost in the machine? And the answer might be, there are ghosts in the limbs. We look at the cow in the field and think, poor thing, it doesn't know it's going to die. But the cow is grazing in the sunshine, tasting the grass, fully alive. The human is standing next to it, perfectly safe, but suffering because he is thinking about his death 10 years from now. Who is the one that is truly trapped? If we accept this, if we accept that the octopus is a distributed mind, that the dog is a hypersensing empath, and that the reducing valve means they are more connected to reality than we are, then we have a massive problem, a moral catastrophe. Because if they are not biological machines, but distinct, vivid, terrified, and joyous entities, then what we are doing to them on a global scale is not just farming. It is something much darker. It is the systematic subjugation of millions of gods trapped in biological prisons. We treat 70 billion land animals every year as if they are corn stalks or automotive parts. We process them, we consume them, we wear them. We justify this mechanism with the Cartesian lie. They do not feel like we feel. It is just a reflex. But if an animal in a cage is not a machine, but a hyper-souled entity trapped in a present-tense reality of absolute suffering, then our industrial farming system is not just an economy. It is a torture chamber of infinite duration. We look away because to look, truly look, would break us. It would demand a reconstruction of our entire civilization. It is easier to believe the lie than to dismantle the slaughterhouse. But the science is no longer offering us that comfort. The alibi is gone. We know they are in there. We are witnessing the birth of a new legal era. It is called non-human personhood. In courtrooms from New York to Argentina, lawyers are arguing that great apes, elephants, and cetaceans should be granted habeas corpus, the right against unlawful imprisonment. This is not about giving a chimp the right to vote. It is about recognizing that they are not things. They are legal persons with the fundamental right to bodily liberty. We know that elephants suffer from PTSD. We have seen elephants wake up screaming in the middle of the night, years after witnessing their herds being culled by poachers. Imagine the day a computer translates the vocalization of a captive orca, and it isn't just noise. It is a plea. When they can speak to us, the cage doors will have to open. We are the only species that hates itself. We are the only species that commits suicide. We are the only species that destroys its own habitat. And when history judges us, it will not ask what we created. It will ask why it took us so long to realize that we were never the only ones home.
What in the... Watch the claws!